He was a young comedian. He didn't know what he was doing and got into show business for all the wrong reasons. Ego satisfaction, and the fact that it was too easy. Very easy to impress, very easy to generate a little easy charisma. But then he began to learn.
I love dancing!
Yeah! We've got two options for the tattoo.
Can you tell that different?
My guy, Randall, tell him up!
So the number one rule of improv, and basically the whole basis for it, all lies in the word yes. And the phrase that specifically everybody uses is yes and. So it's the idea of whatever you bring to me, I'm gonna not only receive, I'm gonna give my own thing to it. And there's a quote, and I think it was Del Close, but it was something along the lines of, you bring a brick, I'll bring a brick, and we'll build a house together. I think comedy today owes so much to improv, so much, it's ridiculous. The people that we really know today as like comedians, like the big names kind of, like when you think like Steve Carell, Stephen Colbert, Amy Poehler, Tina Fey, they were all trained by someone named Del Close, who championed the long form improv. Del Close made it into like a full-blown art form.
I am the door through which you will pass, but he may not. But he understands.
That is a man in a rat costume.
Thank you so much for trying again, Mike. I love you so much.
So long form improv is the idea of it's basically just like a 20-minute long set, completely unscripted. What a lot of the long form does today is you are just completely cut loose. Like it's whatever, anything's game. You have 20 minutes or as long as you want or as short as you want to do anything. It became possessive almost, like this is an art form, like we can make this into something really cool. The people who love it, like they don't take it lightly. Like I take comedy really seriously. And I think that's so funny because all the people I know who are really passionate about comedy take it really seriously. I've loved finding the friends that I have found because they've just seriously like pushed me to a different standard of like, this is worth my time and like this is worth, like there's a science behind it, there's a psychology behind it. There's so much to just figure out and learn because if you view every single person on stage with a high esteem, you hold yourself to a higher esteem and things just get better.
When I found long form and started actually doing research into introspection in improv and being able to take what's inside of you and what's in culture and be able to express that and somehow make people laugh, but also when they're walking out of the theater being like, whoa, I just saw something new about myself and America and the world and my soul. You're like, what? That should not be an art form that is ignored, basically, which it is. It really freaking is. All of the people that kind of like comedy television know The Office. They know Parks and Rec. They know like funny actors saying lines, and they have no idea that the people that they're watching, their favorite late night talk show hosts, they don't know that their sense of humor and their writing comes from improv, almost exclusively. A scary amount of it exclusively comes from improv. They don't realize how important improv is in written, filmed comedy. Like, it's incredible to see how America has been so in love with comedy, and yet it's missing almost the biggest part of it.
So I was a senior in high school, and I knew I was going to be coming to Liberty, and I also knew that they didn't have an improv team. And I knew that wasn't gonna, I genuinely cannot do school. I can't do life unless I am, that sounds so overdramatic, and I recognize that. But I really cannot do everyday life if I'm not having this as an outlet. I ended up emailing the Student Government Association. I had not even graduated high school yet. And I emailed them and I was like, hi, I'm coming to Liberty in the fall. I'm a senior in high school. How do I start a club? And they were just like, wow, like so cool. Here's all these forms. It usually takes like 6 months. And I was like, I'm gonna do it in like 2. I did not do it in 2. Spoiler alert, it took a really long time.
My freshman year of college, I had never heard of improv. I watched Whose Line, but besides that, really nothing. and I met Millicent, and basically Millie told me that she had done improv in high school and that there was not an improv club on campus and that she was making one. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And she's like, you're gonna try out. And I was like, oh, what? Excuse me, I'm very stressed out. Like, I don't wanna, I've watched Whose Line, I want my lines, like, cause I'd done like, you know, theater in high school, so I was like, being in front of people with nothing to prepare, like, what? That's terrifying. And so she made me try out. I kind of wanted to anyway, just because I thought it'd be interesting, but it was mostly her being like, you're trying out for Cackle Hour, and I want it. And I'm like, okay. At the end of my first scene, I was just on cloud nine. I was like, wow, this is what I've been chasing. This is what I've been wanting.
Hey, you're supposed to be attracting customers to the new store. All right? You're scaring them. Guns are scary. You got it. If you walked up to a grocery store and someone pulled guns, you're not gonna buy something.
I heard of Cackle Hour because me and Millicent took an acting class together, and so she had announced to the class that she was on an improv team and that they were having auditions. So I thought, you know what the heck? So I went, and it was a very interesting day, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. So afterwards, I was like, well, I guess we'll see what happens, and I made it. So that was fun. The satisfaction you feel when you make someone laugh is like so incredible, and I just loved whenever I was able to do that. And also, it definitely like bonds people together when you can grow that trust on stage with your partner, and you can just like trust that going into whatever scene you might be going into, like, you know that no matter what, it's gonna be okay because you have that trust between you. Like, we don't always have to be so serious, and we can just get up on stage and do something crazy. Growing up was like a really just super awkward and nervous child, and like in big crowds, I'm definitely the quieter one. So being in a position where you can't prepare for it and you have to just get up there and just trust that something crazy is gonna happen, like that has definitely helped me be more willing to like be outgoing with people and be more willing to go up and just like talk to a stranger I don't know, or to just be more comfortable with myself and more confident in myself. I definitely think this year at Liberty and this year being on Cackle Hour has grown my confidence so much, and just like knowing that, hey, you know what, I might look goofy and I might look crazy, but I don't care what people think because like that's just who I am.
Say it. Say the thing. Say it. Oh, yes!
With the team, I feel like the longer you know the team, the better you do together in scenes because there's more trust. And then you can predict what they're gonna do, like with a suggestion or with someone else's setup, you know? You go out there and you just have blind trust and you just do what you practice in terms of following the rules, and it's like, it just works. Like, that's the thing that like baffles me about improv. It's like, the closer you follow the rules and something that's so loose and, you know, unscripted and unpredictable, it's like the more you follow the rules, the better it is, which is something that's so paradoxical, but like it makes perfect sense when it happens. That magical feeling is something I wish I could bottle up and keep forever, because it's like you go out there and when it comes together, it's like, oh my gosh, like, because you're like putting like 8 brains together to create this comedy, like on the spot. You're like a bunch of monkeys at a typewriter, like creating something, and it just happens. And when it happens, it's beautiful and it's memorable, and people will quote it, even though none of us can remember what we say as soon as we walk out the door.
It's funny because a lot of the best moments don't happen on stage, which would kill me, but again, it's not always about like making a whole audience of people laugh.
That magical feeling, like you can't beat that. Like that's the best part about improv.
I can't even describe it specifically. It's literally just one of those things where you're in a scene and I'm like, I could be in this scene, this character with this person forever.
Cackle Hour arguably is the best thing that happened to me at Liberty, because it showed me improv and it gave me a group, and so I know I will die before it dies.
The best moments is when you hit something and not only is it funny, but it's something where this could last for a really long time.
And so we've done maybe a little better a job than we thought we've done. Yeah, we're not doing such a bad job for the world.